All right, so first, hello guys, my name is Erika Gonzalez. I am your one-star double platinum and team leader of Team Unstoppables. And like I said, we will be going over how to go ahead and do a little bit of everything in the Disney site, as well as trying to go ahead and look into the mock booking, the bookings, the itinerary, all of that good stuff as well. All right, so first off, we want to go ahead and make sure that you guys have access to our site, the DisneyTravelAgents.com. If you do not, please make sure you create an account. It takes about 5 minutes. And just make sure you have the right information from our back office. Okay, so since I already have an account with them, we're just going to go ahead and go right in. Now, the first things first, do not focus and look at everything because again, there can be a lot if you don't know where to actually go ahead and look. For now, as we are just going ahead and do like a mock booking slash actual booking, this is the only area you have to look at, which would be this one right here. Okay. Let's see if I can get my little mail here. Okay. All right, this right here. Okay. So this is the only section for right now that we are going to utilize. Now, from here, what we are going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and, if you guys are able to see right here, right, you guys are able to see destinations. You can see the dates, adults, children, and we're just going to find prices. Okay. We don't need to go ahead and do hotels. All right. So again, it's going to be destinations, dates, how many adults, how many children, and just find prices. Now, to go ahead and get started from that section, what we're going to go ahead and do would be to go ahead and go under destinations. As soon as you guys do that, you guys will see a drop, a scrolling thingy, just like you guys see right here. You guys have the opportunity to go ahead and do not only Disney World, but Disneyland. You got cruises, you got Good Neighbor hotels, which is not directly inside of Disney, but a little bit outside. We got even tickets that you guys are able to go ahead and sell, and Ulani, which is a resort and spa in Hawaii. So you guys have these available as well. Now, FYI, I do want to let you guys know that tickets, to go ahead and purchase them and get commission, it has to be more than 3-day tickets, not 3 people, 3 days. Okay, so it has to be like January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That would be 3 days, not, oh, it's a mom, dad, and a child 3 kind of thing, because a lot of people get that confused. So in order to get paid through the Disney site, you have to go ahead and make sure it's more than 3 days. If it's less than 3 days, like for example, if your client wants to do a 1 day or a 2 day, then I would recommend looking into like Evo Rewards, Evo Expedia, Viator, others resources, Vax, other resources you guys are able to utilize. Okay, but otherwise than that, if it's more than 3, then you can more than welcome to go ahead and go back here and do this as well. Okay, so again, for today, we're going to go ahead and do Disney World because I personally like Disney World and it's much bigger as well. Now, I do want to go ahead and remind you guys, please make sure that you at least know some of Disney, okay? Meaning that because you are going to have people asking you what the difference is. Believe me, they will. Because when people ask you, I want to go to Disney, okay? We know there's 2 Disneys. We have one in Florida and one in California, right? So if they say Disney, do you know automatically where you there want to go? No, right? Because there's Disney World and Disneyland. The prices are different locations. One Disneyland takes about 2 days, 3 days tops, if anything. And Disney World takes a lot more than that many days, right? Plus, Disney World has way more parks included, as well as water parks and sports, which is ESPN as well. So again, it's much more bigger, much more stuff that you guys will end up doing compared to Disneyland. Now, for some reason, Disneyland, due to the fact that it's in California, which is a little bit more expensive, it will be more expensive to do anything in Disneyland compared to Disney World. All right. So if a client asks you, I want to go ahead and need a booking for Disney, first thing off your head should be, are you looking to go to Disney World or Disneyland? Okay. Because like that, they automatically are like, oh man, there's 2. Because again, some people think automatically California, some people think Florida, and that's it, right? There's only one in their mind. So we have to remind them where they want to go. If, like I said, they're probably going to ask you, what's the difference? at least know their location, right? Land, California, World, and Florida. And one's bigger than the other. So you can kind of identify them with World, much more bigger, right? Which is probably going to take more time compared to Land with Disneyland, which is going to be much shorter. So at least those can help both your clients and yourself kind of come up with something on here. As well as maybe later on, if you want to go more in depth, you can go and look into what the difference is and, you know, give that to your client. But at least you know the basics. All right. From there, what you are going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and do dates. If you guys are doing a mock booking, I recommend for you guys to look at the dates that it's least popular, meaning no holidays, no summer, and no time where the kids are off of school. Why? Because it's of supply and demand, meaning that if they want to go when it's cheaper, it's not going to be in that time frame. Cheaper time frame would end up being like January, February, August, end of August, beginning of September. That's usually when the cheapest time frame is. Okay. So when I do a mock booking, I go ahead and do, like I said, I go into, let's go into August 26th all the way until the 30th. Okay. I tend to go, when they want to go ahead and go to Disney World, I tend to push more than 3 days because again, Disney World is it's big that it's technically 4 parks and you pretty much can do 1 park a day. Okay. So sometimes, again, like the Magic Kingdom, if you guys have been to Magic Kingdom in Disney World, know that sometimes they can take up to 2 days, even more than that, right? So at least hitting 4 days, the 1 day apart can go ahead and help as well. So sometimes I hit for 4 or 5 days, and I usually recommend that to clients, especially when it's their first time. All right. So I'll go ahead and do a mock booking, right? FYI too, guys, if you guys are doing a quote for somebody, you can utilize this also as a mock booking, meaning that you guys can promote this as well because you already did the work, you already know the price. Just make a nice looking flyer and put it out, right? So that's perfectly fine to do. So do that extra work, extra step where it's the flyer, and you guys should be good to go, right? Adults, I automatically put 2. And children, I automatically put 2 children as well. So you do want to go ahead and make sure that you know the ages of the child to go ahead and know the pricing. Disney does have separate pricing on children. There's 3 different pricing. Some of them are not a big difference, but it is, you know, it can go ahead and hurt sometimes the pocket. So usually from an infant all the way to a 2-year-old, meaning from 1 day all the way to a 2-year-old, they are free. They're still considered a child, but they're not really getting charged for it. So when I do a mock booking, I tend to go ahead and add that, you know, a 2-year-old and they're an infant because technically, yes, it's a child, but it's not getting added to it. You see, there's like a little loop in there. So I'm still able to advertise 2 adults, 2 children. Because it is a child. The only difference is technically they're just charging me for 2 adults, 1 child, because one of them is free. Okay. And the other one, let's just say we want like a 6-year-old. Now the next price mark is from a 3-year-old all the way to a 9-year-old, and then another one's from 10 to 17. So again, those are the 3 price marks difference that there is. From there, once we're done, we're just gonna go ahead and go find prices. So meanwhile that is going, I would suggest, guys, personally, to go ahead and, if you guys do not have one already, go ahead and have a Linktree, okay? A Linktree is the one platform where you guys are able to go ahead and post all your social media platforms in one area, as well as your quotes, okay? With that being said, did you guys know that there is only a requirement of only $200 to go ahead and be able to book or put down a deposit for a Disney trip for Disney World? Right? Did you guys know that? Yes, no? You can put it in the chat. Adam says yes. Okay, Adam, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, no, maybe so? No. Sophia says no. Michelle says no. Alex says yes. All right. So you see, we have, and this is why we have these trainings so like that we are able to go ahead and learn, right? It's perfectly fine, guys, that, you know, It's okay that you guys don't know this information. So don't be shy when I ask questions. It's fine. I'm not going to get after you. So don't worry. All right. So with that being said, did you guys also know that you can go ahead and book with only $200 down? Right. I said that. Okay. Did you guys know that there's payment plans available as well? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes. Okay. Michelle says no. All right. No, no. Okay. So we have more no's now. All right. So yes, we are able to go ahead and do payment plans, and I'll go over that as well with you guys. That we are able to go ahead and provide for our clients as well. Okay. So with that little information, you guys are able to advertise yourselves with that, because a lot of people, just like you guys that are travel agents, right? Not saying it's bad or anything, but you guys that are travel agents don't know. Imagine your clients, they're not going to know either. So again, this is very helpful to let your clients know, as well as when you're promoting. Make sure those are kind of like your bigger kind of eye-catching things. Okay, and I'll show you one of my flyers in a little bit as well. But for now, let me go ahead and go to my Disney quote, so like that you guys are able to see how it kind of looks in my end. So what I go ahead and do is I kind of replicate the questions that I'm putting in here in the Disney site onto here, because all I have to do is pretty much just transfer the information over and I'm done. Okay. Not only that, but I do go ahead and let them know that it is only $200 down, you know, making it all over here all pretty and stuff like that as well. Because again, that's kind of eye catching when you remind them, or maybe they didn't know that and they accidentally went in there and they're like, oh my God, it's only $200 to go ahead and book. Yes. Okay. Of course, we have the general information, first name, phone number, email. We got the check-ins. We got the ages of the children, which was the exact same thing that I went ahead and asked, right? Now here, I also went ahead and have this available because again, it can go ahead and identify them right off the bat if I'm not asking, if they're not coming to me directly, right? If they're going ahead and doing this as a quote and filling out the information, I want to go ahead and make sure that they know the difference: Disneyland, California, Disney World, Florida, and Disney Cruises, just in case they're other, because sometimes they think other would be like Harry Potter for some reason. A lot of people think Harry Potter and Disney are together, which they're not. But, you know, we want to go ahead and make that clear right off the bat as well. So this can go ahead and help. So I would recommend having something like this also in your form, guys. So like that, you don't have to remind them, hey, this is here, this is there kind of situation. All right. So going back into the Disney site. Once you guys are here, you guys will see on here the Disney picks. Okay. This is Disney giving you what they recommend. I want to go ahead and go to low to high. All right. When you go to low to high, always, you will get this one. Okay. You're going to get the resort, which is kind of the campsite. Okay. So unless they're going in an RV or camping, you're not going to go ahead and give this one out. So we're going to go ahead and just not look at it for now. The three main ones that are kind of more the budget friendly kind of thing are called All Stars. We have the All Stars movies, music, and sports. Okay. Usually these three are normally like 98% of the time exact same price. And they're not far away from each other in location either. Okay. It's very rare when one is much more than the other. But usually these three are also the first ones to go as well. If your client, and this is where some people are like, well, my booking came out to be 10 grand and it's only 3 of us, or my booking came out 5 grand and it's only 2 children or whatever. This is where that comes into play. Depending on the resort that they're looking at, and that's where clients, or if they go ahead and go in there and try to do this on their own, this is where they see that 10K, 5K amount. Because what they do is they go in here and they go ahead and look at the nice resorts. Okay, this is $474 a night. This is one day. Okay, or maybe they can go ahead and go all the way to maybe $763 a day. This is a day, guys. This is not a total. Okay, this is a day. So yes, you are looking at 10 grand, 20 grand, because if you're going with an expensive resort, a villa, you're going to have that pocket. And that's when they're like, oh, well, Disney's expensive. No, in reality, it's not, if you know how to do this correctly. With that being said, going back into my form, I do go ahead and ask them about what accommodations they prefer, meaning the hotel, make sure that you guys do not use the word cheap. Okay, don't say hey, or regardless if it's through Disney or Expedia or whatever you guys are utilizing, do not say cheap. Hey, I found you a cheap resort. Why? Because when you hear cheap, you're probably, you yourself, right? If I'm asking you, what do you think cheap is? Probably like dirtiness, cockroaches, bed bugs, stuff starts coming into your mind. Imagine you telling that to your clients, hey, I found you a cheap resort or a cheap hotel. That's the first thing that's going to come to mind. And they're going to be like, yeah, no, I don't know. Let's go ahead and go to the next level, right? When in reality, guys, the budget friendly, budget price, which is the all stars, are perfectly fine. Every time I go to Disney, I use any of these three. I haven't gone to the music, but I've gone to the movies and the sports. Personally, I like the movies one, but they're perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Remember, at the end of the day, it's still Disney, but this is more of a budget friendly. Okay, so make sure you utilize the correct term. There, it's called value, which is basic and family friendly accommodations for a budget price. We have the moderate, which is a mid-level pricing. We have the deluxe, which is the luxury one or the higher price. And we have the villas, which is the highest without no budget. That's the one, the villas are the ones that you see all the way down here. All of these, you see villas. These are the more expensive ones, okay? These are the ones that are very nice, very pretty. Outside, you have like the giraffes and stuff like that. So again, if they're going off just the resort, yes, there is going to be a big difference. But again, if it's their first time, recommendly, I usually tell my clients as well, I recommend these three. Why? Because first off, you're not going to stay inside the resort 24/7. So it doesn't matter if you have 10 pools in your resort, you're not going to use all 10 pools. It doesn't matter if you have a giraffe outside your window, right? Yes, it looks pretty temporary, but you're not going to be in your room 24 hours to enjoy it. Does that make sense? Or the resort to enjoy it. They're usually going to utilize it to sleep, eat, shower, not even eat sometimes, just shower, and that's it. So in reality, why stay and spend $700 in one room per night that you're just going to sleep in? Does that make sense to you guys? Recommend, go ahead and do the all-stars. Save them some money, and like that you can let them know, hey, with that extra money, utilize them on maybe getting the dining plan, or maybe go ahead and get maybe some souvenirs, right? Because remember, we're there to help them, guide them, give them knowledge as well. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and do the movies. Okay, we're going to click on it. It's automatically going to go ahead and send us to the information for the resort. Now, know that if you scroll down, you will see any specials going on, right? So for example, stay longer and save more. This one says a delicious deal for Disney Plus subscribers. So this is very important too. So you can go ahead. Sometimes they have specials for Disney subscribers, for people that have Disney, the credit card available. They have some rates with that also. So knowing that can go ahead and help you as well. But for now, let's just say this was not here and it was just blank. We're just going to keep it at standard price. The only thing you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to choose from two, which is the standard room or the preferred room. Again, when I'm doing a mock booking, I'm doing everything the cheap as possible to get the eye catching of people thinking or looking and being like, oh, Disney is $1,000 for 4 people. Yes, makes sense. Instead of me going, oh, I want the preferred, I want this. That's once the client, you start talking to the client. With that being said, it's $20 difference a night to go from the preferred room. To go from the standard room to the preferred room. Okay, what's the difference? Well, one, I see maybe the parking lot. The other one, I see a pool. $20 difference a day. 2, 4, 6, 8. That's if I'm staying for 5 nights, that's $100 difference. I'm okay to see in the parking lot because again, I'm not gonna be there. Makes sense. So make sure you let your client know that, hey, you're gonna save $100 if you go ahead and stay in the standard room compared to the preferred room. Okay. Again, I'm just going to go ahead and go with the standard room. This is, again, the cheapest one that you guys are able to go ahead and book your client for, regardless, again, if it's a mock booking or a personal book or an actual booking. Once you guys go ahead and choose the room, you're going to go ahead and go to this, which is your cart. Okay. On your cart, if you scroll down, you will see some information. Please do not go back to your client and be like, oh my God, it's $560 to go ahead and go to Disney. Yes and no. Yes, it's $560 to only stay inside the resort. We're still not counting the tickets. Okay. Because as you guys can see, it says right here, ticket options. There's nothing on here. So I have to click on here to go ahead and go into tickets. Once you hit this, know that it automatically will give you the amount of days you're staying inside the resort. If you're staying in the resort for 10 days, it's going to give you 10-day tickets. If you're staying in the resort for 2 days, it's going to give you 2-day tickets. Know that you guys are able to change it though. Okay. So let's just say they were staying for 10 days, but they only want to do 4 days. You can change it. That's perfectly fine. If they're just doing a resort and they don't want any tickets, that's where you have the no ticket here available, that they don't want to go inside the resort. Maybe they're a member or a card holder, an annual pass holder, whatever it is. So you can go ahead and just click here. So like that, you can continue on the other side. The cool part about this is you see the numbers down here. It's telling you right off the bat the difference between a 4-day and 5-day. It is about $170 to go from an extra day for 4 people. Okay. So if the client is like, well, I don't know if I want to do a 5-day or a 4-day, right here, you can be like, well, it looks like a 4-day is $2,200 and the 5-day is $2,300. About $100 difference, and you get to go an extra day after all. This is for the park tickets. Okay, not for the resort. This is for the park tickets. This is already included in the park and the hotel and the taxes. So you don't have to click, go check it and come back and change it. This is the cool part about it, right? You guys are able to see this right off the bat. Pretty awesome. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and do 3-day just for now, because that's the more popular one. Now, the second part says select ticket type. If we use base ticket, that means it's 1 day, 1 park per ticket. Meaning that if I go 1 day, it's going to be 1 day Animal Kingdom, 1 day Magic Kingdom, and the other day Hollywood Studios. Those are my 3 days. Okay. It's not, oh, I want to go to Animal Kingdom, I want to go to Magic Kingdom 1 day and the other. No, we're not doing the park hopper. Okay. To go ahead and do more than 1 day of park, that is called a park hopper. It is extra. Okay. As well as, remember, I did tell you that there is a water park, that this is in Disney World, that they have available, which is also extra, as well as the sports. Again, that is extra. If you want to go ahead and combine the park hopper with the water park and the sports option, there is this one, which is called the plus, which is, again, this amount. With that being said, if it's their first time, guys, I do not recommend for them to go ahead and get the park hopper to go ahead and do a 2-day ticket. All right. Why? Because a lot of people are like, well, there's 4 parks, right? I can do 2 parks 1 day and 2 parks the other. That's right there, 2 days, and I'm good. For those that have been to Disney World, well, put it in the chat box. Does it take more than 1 day to do a park? Do you think you can do it in half a day if it's your first time there? Put yes or no in the chat box for those that have been to Disney World. Okay. Nobody's been to Disney World? Yes, absolutely not. Okay. So exactly. 1 park per day with So imagine trying to go ahead and fit half a day. And then some of these parks we have to know, because some of them might close earlier than the other park. Or if you guys FYI, because I didn't know this prior to this year actually, that Animal Kingdom closes the animal section part at 6 o'clock because they have to put the animals away. I didn't know that. When the actual park itself closes like at 8 or 9, I believe. So again, if you're going to Magic Kingdom, right, and then you're like, oh, well, I have until 8 or 9 to go to Animal Kingdom to look at the animals, and you get there like at 5, well, guess what? You're going to probably see them like for 1 hour, if anything. So again, I personally don't recommend this right? Having the park hopper, yes, it might sound awesome because, oh my God, 1 day per park. Imagine if they're going during the holidays, they're going to spend pretty much half of their days in line of that half. Does that make sense? So they're not going to fully enjoy it. And that's where a lot of people are like, well, it's overrated or this or that. No, it's because you don't get to go ahead and experience the full amount. Makes sense? So again, you can go ahead and just let them know. If they still want to do the park hopper, hey, perfectly fine. But I at least let them know. And like that, they're not able to come back at me and be like, well, you didn't tell me that I had to spend another $250 and I wasn't even going to go ahead and use it. Okay. So as long as, again, you let your client know, they can't come back at you and be like, oh, you didn't tell me, or why didn't you tell me? Or, you'll still have a happy client after. So again, I personally just go ahead and go to base tickets as well when I'm doing also a mock booking. After that, just go ahead and go to continue. Once you go ahead and click on continue, now it's added onto your cart. You're going to go ahead and see the resort, right? And it gives you like a little brief right here. The dates, how many adults, how many children, the ages. It gives you here my resort that I'm going to go ahead and get. Tells me 3-day tickets with a 1 day per day, value that it tells you from here when I can utilize them, because of course I'm going during that time frame. You're able to go ahead and, as you guys can see now, more stuff opened up. You see, now I can go ahead and do memory maker. I can add the dining plan, and I can add ground transportation. This was not there available earlier, if you guys saw that. Once you pick your ticket, then you can go ahead and proceed with the rest of this. Memory maker, that's the one that you guys have. All you have to do is just get your bracelet or your card, whatever they're utilizing, and they can go to any photographer that is there on Disney on site. I don't know, for those that have been to Disney, those are the photographer stations. And sometimes when there's characters, they're there to take pictures of you. I personally would recommend this. I didn't before, right? Because I was like, well, it's $170. Why, when you can do it yourself? But in reality, when you're the one that's always taking the pictures and you're taking selfies, you're not always going to go ahead and have the full character or you and your family in there. Makes sense? So I would recommend the memory maker. I used it this time around. I did pay the $170. I did make sure that I utilized all of it. I did get about 2,000 pictures for it. So yes, I think it was well worth it. Why? Because I took pictures, me and my family, and then it was me and my son, right, that we went. Then I took pictures of me by myself. Then I took pictures of my son as well. So that was 3 right there and then, taking pictures in different locations. So yes, it added up to about 2,000 as well. And then sometimes these photographers are really good where they're just like taking pictures like crazy, and you're just like, okay, cool, right? So pretty awesome to go ahead and have as well. Again, recommended. Don't have to go ahead and do it. You can let your clients know more into that. The dining plan came into back this year. For those that didn't know, we didn't have the dining plan since COVID hit. That was not available. The 9th of January is when this was opening up again. So now we have the availability to add the dining plan if your client wishes to add this on. They don't have to, right? They can just go ahead and go pay as they go, but it is a little bit expensive trying to get like a pretzel for like $10, right? Or a Coke for like $6, $7. It does come out pricey, especially if you're having more than one person. But unless they're going to live off popcorn, which is like about $2 to go ahead and refill that, I would suggest the dining plan itself. You also have the opportunity of choosing 2 dining plans. So let's go ahead and look in here. By you clicking add dining plans, there's 2 of them you guys can choose from. You have one that is called the quick service and the other one called the dining plan itself. It gives you a little bit of information here, but to make it short and sweet, one of them is kind of in and out. Go ahead and get a burger, go ahead and get this, sit down, eat really quick and take off. If you guys want to go ahead and experience, or if your client wants to experience the fulfillment or even the characters, because this is where you can go ahead and get your characters and reserve those character dinings, it has to be this one. Just because they have the quick service does not mean they're going to go ahead and be able to sit down in a restaurant where characters come in. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, there's two different things, two separate things. One is for fast people where they're going in, eating, sitting down, going into those quick, really quick, and continue their day. There's some that like to go ahead and relax because I want to go ahead and see, you know, like the royal going into the Cinderella castle. Well, FYI, that one is very, very expensive and very hard to get into because you have to do it like 6 months in advance. But I want to go ahead and go into inside of Cinderella and eat inside the Cinderella castle, which I've done before, which is okay. So that would have to be the dining plan. Okay, there is, as you guys can see, it's only about $300 difference from going from one to the other. They do have pretty much almost the same thing. Like they have an extra snack you guys are able to get. You guys do get a refillable mug in person, right? That you guys do get. Let me show you mine. Which is this one, right? Well, not this one, but there's depending, there's different ones available. This is the one for the 100th that you are able to get. This is only refillable in the resorts. Okay, so they're not refillable in the parks. Just an FYI on that one. So this one itself costs about $25 to $30. Okay, so again, they're saving themselves there. Plus, if they're able to refill it, that can kind of save them also on some of that cost as well. So again, it is recommended to go ahead and have these as well because refill is unlimited, but it has to be in the resort. That's the only downfall on that one. Okay. For the quick plan, you do have the 2 quick service meals, again, which is maybe you want to get a burger or you want to go ahead and get a sandwich, something like that. The snack, which is maybe a cookie or an ice cream, can be that. You get the mug, and it's telling you right there, no special dining experience, meaning that you will not get to sit and get a character coming to you and take pictures and interact with them. Okay, for $300 more, because you guys can see the difference right here, about 300. You are able to go ahead and get that experience. You do have 1 table service meal available, and this is per day. Okay, it's not in total. This is per day. So you are able to go ahead and do this per day. So one day I want to go to the royal castle, right, to sit down with Cinderella. The other next day I want to go to Winnie the Pooh one, right? The next one I want to go ahead and do Animal Kingdom one, which is Mickey and the Savannah characters experience. Oh my god, I forgot the name of that, but you guys, yes. All right, so that is what you guys are able to do. Okay, it's 1 per day. This is 1 per day. You get 1 quick service meal, all right, meaning that let's just say that you go ahead and do the dining, this one like at lunchtime, and then maybe later on, like around 6 o'clock, you're hungry, or 5 o'clock, you're hungry, you want that little snack, a burger or something. That's where you guys are able to utilize it. You get, again, the same thing, 1 snack, 1 refillable mug, plus you get to get that special dining experience included. So I personally think this one would be better if your client wants to interact more with characters or see characters that they were not able to see. Like, for example, the princesses, sometimes not all princesses are in the locations, right? So like in the Cinderella castle, you'll see all the princesses there come out. So some of these, again, like Winnie the Pooh only comes out on sometimes, and it comes out in their dining plan where it comes Piglet, Eeyore, Winnie the Pooh, but you can't see Eeyore or Piglet sometimes roaming around where you take pictures with them. Does that make sense? So you get to experience different interactions with them as well. And so you guys can go ahead and select either or if you guys want to do so. So for now, I don't want to select any. So I'm going to go ahead and continue without the dining plan. But you guys can go ahead and read more information out of this as well. So like that, if you guys wish to know a little bit more about it. So I'm going to continue without the dining plan. Please know that if you guys add the dining plan, if you guys add the memory maker or you add the protection plan, it's no longer $200 down. It does go up a little bit more than that, okay? So $200 down would be just the regular, like what I'm doing right here. This is $2,000 down. But if they add the memory maker or they add the travel protection, it does add on like an extra 100 as a down payment for it. Just an FYI, because I didn't know that either until I actually did it and I saw it. Okay. Grand transportation. It is no longer free to go ahead and go from the airport to the resort. Before it was free. Now it's not. So the client needs to either use an Uber, a Lyft, a taxi, a shuttle, but they have to pay for it. All right. There is grand transportation, but this is like rent a car, which no. All right. So please know that there is no longer free transportation from airport to the resort or from the resort to the airport. But staying inside the resort, you do have transportation in the shuttles to go for free to the parks. Okay, it's just not from the airport to the resort. All right. Protection plan, we have the protection plan on here if you guys wish to go ahead and add that on. But again, since I'm doing just this as a mock booking, this is gonna be my total right here. It is it's $1,778.54 to go ahead and to book this vacation for $200 down for 4 people, for 2 adults, 2 children. Okay, so that's pretty good, right? If I tell you, hey, I can get you $1,800 for 2 adults, 2 children, you're gonna be like, yeah, right? You have $200 down payment plus monthly payments that you're able to do. You're gonna be on top of that. You see the difference? So now the 5K or 10K that people are looking at, you see how now it's very, very affordable. Because if you guys do it the correct way, you're able to go ahead and have this available. Now, flyer wise, let me go into I personally, and this is me personally, because there's different ways you guys are able to go ahead and advertise your mock bookings. Excuse me. All right. So, for example, myself, I like doing my mock bookings on flyers. Okay. Why? Because I think it grabs people's attention. There's more stuff I can go ahead and do. And I put myself in the shoes as, you know, the consumer, because that's what you guys have to do. You have to put yourself in the consumer shoes. So, meaning that if you guys see a flyer that catches your eye when you're scrolling on your Facebook, are you going to stop and read it? Probably, right? If you like scroll and you're like, oh, wait, let me go back. What was that? Oh, okay. Compared to like seeing a whole bunch of words, a picture, and that's it, right? I personally do not press those that have like big text when it says see more. I'm just like, no. Right? Again, that's me personally. If you guys are like that, then I would suggest using the flyer. Because remember, you guys have to put your mindset, yes, because it can look good in the business wise and the professional wise. But if you go ahead and put yourself as in somebody that's seeing it, is it going to grab your attention? If you said no, then you probably should be changing it. All right. So yes, it does not matter if it looks good as a business wise, but if it does not look as a consumer wise, you're just wasting your time. Okay. So you always have to go ahead and make sure you put on and take off that hat. As you guys can see here, there should be like 2 main things that your eye comes into, which should be the down payment and it should be the amount, right? Because it's just eye catching, and there's a reason for me going to particularly these colors to stand out. So down payment, $200 down. Okay, I put the dates. I put 2 adults, 2 children. Make sure that you guys do not put the ages of the child on your mock booking. Okay, do not do that. Do not put more information than you need to. In other words, nice and simple, best. As you guys can see here, I don't see it flooded. I don't put a whole bunch of information. I don't put what resort they're staying. I'm not putting from here to here. I don't put flights in there. I would not recommend ever putting flights unless it's like a set flight, because it's going to change. If you did not know, flights change every like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, right? Every hour, if anything. They keep changing it. So if you start promoting, oh, you know, if you go from Texas to Orlando, it's this much, and it's not a set amount, then know that this price is going to change. All right. So in my case, I just rather not put that. If the client reaches out and then they want to go ahead and do that, then yes, of course, I'll go ahead and do that. But meanwhile, as a mock booking, I do not do that. Right? As you guys can see, I see the pricing starting at. Make sure you always put starting at, or prices may vary. Why? Because if this person reaches out and they're like, well, I wanted the $1,778 and it came out to be, I don't know, 5K for whatever reason, right? And it's 2 adults, 2 children, the same date. It might be because the resort was not available. Remember, those resorts are the first ones to go. So the only time price will go up is if the resort is no longer available and you have to go ahead and go to the moderate, which is more pricier. And of course, if those are out, you're gonna have to go to the next level, which is the higher level. So that's where the price mark changes. It's not the tickets itself, it's the resort. Makes sense? And again, I just go ahead and specify here 3-day park tickets, hotel stay, and that's it. I don't go into detail to tell them it's going to be at the All-Star, it's going to be here. I don't. Right? Simple. Simple looks nice, right? It doesn't look overpowering, overwhelming. If you want to go simpler than this, it's perfectly fine. Okay. I do put payment plans available. Again, that's another eye-catching thing. You guys are able to change the color to this one also, so it can go ahead and be more like grab your attention kind of deal. If not, just leave it as is, right? I can go ahead and change this up to make it stand out a little bit more, right? I can change this one to maybe a white. Okay, you see, I have little different colors to kind of trigger them to look at certain stuff. And then of course I put my link tree on here because I utilize my link tree a lot as well compared to my website. And of course I put contact me today. That's it. You see how simple that is? Okay, I have another one here for you. My down payment, $200, October 17th through the 20th, 2 adults, 3-day park, 3-day ticket parks, right? And this is including the resort as well. It's $1,793. Prices may vary, payment plans available. And then, you know, nice looking pictures here, but I have the theme going of October. You guys can go ahead and utilize the flyers and kind of give it a theme if you wish to do so. Okay, remember, short and simple is nice as well. So here's another one. Boom, right there, $20 in your face. Okay, make it a special, even though it's not really a special from Disney. Just put the word special in there, and people are gonna think it's a special. Right? Because I can go ahead and put a Valentine's special, and there's nothing going on in Valentine's. That's fine. They're thinking that they're getting a good deal as it is, so why not name it as a special? Okay, and of course, you know, the more little nice looking pictures you add on there, the more eye-catching it gets as well. So that's how you go ahead and do the mock bookings. All right. On here on the side, you guys can see compare vacation offers. This is a lot of people tend to miss this one. And this is very, very informative and very helpful for you. And I'll show you how to utilize this, because there's different ways you guys can utilize this specific thing. If you guys click on vacation offers, you guys are able to go ahead and compare your original to 2 more. How? So what you guys can do is, let's just say your client is like, well, I don't know if I want to go in August or I want to go ahead and go in December. Okay, let's just say they're not sure when they want to go ahead and go. Whoops. Okay, so if they don't know when they want to go ahead and go, instead of you getting all this information down, writing it, logging off, doing all this all over again, by coming in here, you guys are able to go ahead and compare apples to apples, but different dates. Okay, let's just say that they want to go ahead and go during Christmas. Awesome. All right, the 23rd through the 27th. We're doing 5 days, same thing, adults. We already know the adults. We already know the ages of the children, and that's it. These 3 things, and that's it. Do not do the resort. Okay, we're going to go ahead and find resorts. Now what it's doing is, it's going to go ahead and go and tell me to go ahead and pick my resort, just like at the beginning we were doing, right? But you're gonna see the difference in a little bit. Again, we're gonna go to low to high. Okay, you see that the same prices are going. I want to do the same resort. Okay, and then from here, it's going to go ahead and let me know either the standard or preferred. I'm going to go ahead and go 7, 8, 9. About $200 difference. Yes, I want to go ahead and change it. And then you guys are able to go ahead and look at this and be like, wow. You see down here? Okay, right here. Okay, we have that available, right? As well as having this one available. So what you can tell your client is like, okay, Miss Smith, well, I think it's better going in August because you're going to get it for 1,778 compared to going during Christmas, which is $2,790. Okay, you see how the dates have to do with it. So if I'm going when it's not that popular compared to when it's popular, it's $1,000 difference. All right. Now from there, if they're like, well, you know what? Never mind. Let me go ahead and stick with this one. You can just select offer and boom. If they want to go ahead and go with this one, you just click select offer and now it's going to give you this one without you having to log out, go back in, do everything all over again. Pretty cool, right? So let's just say that's one way you guys can utilize it. You guys can also utilize it if you're doing a mock booking. Remember, I gave you different dates. You guys are even able to Google the time frames that it's usually even slower time frame. Come in here and just put all 3 and see which one is cheaper. Right? Same resort, same everything. The only thing that changes is going to go ahead and be the dates. Boom, back to back to back. See which one's cheaper, and that's it. That's 2 ways you guys are able to use this. Another way you guys are able to use this too is, let's just say that Miss Smith has their cousin, right, that they want to go to. Instead of, again, logging off, logging back in, you can be like, yes, I can go ahead and look into that for you, Miss Smith. Okay, so your cousin wants to go with you. Okay, cool. So we know that they're going August. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and because they want to go ahead and go with their cousins, August 26th. And the reason I'm changing is because remember, I had put the December on here. So we're gonna do this. Let's just say that they have 3 adults and they have 3 children. Okay, one is, I don't know, 4, one is not 8, and the other one is 17. I don't know. Okay, same thing applies. Okay, again, we're gonna go to low to high. Now the good part is you see that I'm only able to see the music, meaning that the other one that Miss Smith is going into is no longer available. All right, so this can help you guys out too automatically while you're on the phone with her, letting her know, hey, Miss Smith, well, it looks like we're able to go ahead and do it. The only thing is it's not going to be in the same resort. Okay, so either Miss Smith has to go ahead and make the change or they're going to be in 2 separate resorts. Okay. Okay, here we go. They're family suites because it's a little bit bigger. And of course, it's a little bit more because there's more people involved in there. So while you're on the phone with her, you're already doing this and you can let her know, hey, Miss Smith, yes, you know, unfortunately, the all movies is not available. If you guys want to stay inside the same resort, you do have to change to the music. And right there and then you can go ahead and make that change too. All right. And if she's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and let her know. Okay, perfectly fine. Then you can just go ahead and delete this one. And then we just stick with Miss Smith right here. You see? So this is another way you guys can utilize this tool. Go ahead and select the offer. It's going to go ahead and update just in case you guys did make a change in here. It's going to go ahead and give you that new information. All right. So that's how you do this part. If you guys are doing an actual booking, it's just one more step. Go into continue. From continue. From continue, what you guys are going to go ahead and do is this is where you guys are going to go ahead and look into the payment plans. Okay. You have the resort information that goes into more detail. If you guys want to go ahead and go into more detail, right? View packages, all that good stuff goes into detail about what's going on, what they're going to get, all of that stuff. Okay. You guys can choose to read that. But on the side, you guys can see that it says price summary, right? It has the price, the package price, it has the total price, it has deposit. As you can see, deposit today is $200. It has the due date on here as well as your commission. Please know that this is not going to change regardless of how much money they put down. If they put down $1,000, it's still going to say that that on July 27th, $1,778 is due. Okay, so please know that, and that's just here. Once you go ahead and start doing the payments, you're gonna see that, of course, that difference. But this is the first time, so of course Disney does not know. Oh, they're gonna make $500. Oh, they're gonna make $1,000. So that's why they have to keep it as the total amount, regardless. So don't freak out when you're like, why if I put 500, it's not moving? That's why. Okay, of course, you're gonna fill out this information. They need to know all 4 people, regardless, even if it's the 1-day-old child. Payment information. This is part 2. This is where the due deposit comes in of the $200. You can pay the full payment today of $1,778. They can pay another sum, like let's just say they want to give $300, right? They can go ahead and do that here. It has to be more though than the actual deposit. For this one time, right now, right here, it has to be more than $200. After that, when you're trying to go ahead and do the payment plans, or let's just say that we're going to pay you $10 today, $20 tomorrow, whatever it is, they're able to do that at that time. Meanwhile, they're not able to do that as if it's their first time. It has to be more than 200. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So it has to be either the 200, which you'll hit the deposit, or it can be 300, 400, 500, whatever it is, but you will have to go ahead and do other amount if it's not the full amount or the 200. The awesome part about this is we're able to hold this for 3 days, meaning that you can guarantee for 3 days this resort, the price, everything we just went over. Let's just say that they're like, well, I don't know, I need to speak to my spouse about it. That's perfectly fine, Miss Smith. I can go ahead and tell you that I can give you a 3-day hold on this to make sure and guarantee you this price. Okay. If it goes over the 3 days, it's released back into the public and somebody else can go ahead and get it. With that being said, if Miss Smith contacts me in 3 months and they're like, you know what, sorry, been busy. Yes, we're going to do it after all. It's not guaranteed now that it's still going to be the exact same. Why? Because remember, the resorts is what comes into play. Okay, so what if there's no longer that resort available? That's where the pricing comes in. Okay, so really quick, since we're doing the pricing, how you do the payment plan is simple. You see right here where it says July 27th. Okay, that means that I have until July 27th to make this payment. So if they are going to go ahead and do, right, the total amount is $1,778.54. They're going to give today $200. Okay, so that means I have a remaining balance of $1,578. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to have February, March, April, May, June, July. Right, it's July, yes. So 6 months. I'm going to have for them to pay $1,578. Make sure, because it's up to you, it's not Disney, it's up to you, how many times you want to go ahead and have them make the payment. Is it going to be once a month, twice a month, or 4 times a month? Meaning, are they going to pay monthly, weekly, or bi-weekly? For in this case, because I don't want to get into how many weeks, how many whatever, I'm just going to go ahead and do 6 because they're going to pay once a month. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this by 6 months. That means monthly until July, they have to go ahead and pay me $263.09. Okay. Everybody with me? Any questions as of right now? Yes, no, maybe so. You guys can put in the chat. Is everybody on the same page? How to get this? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Carmen. All right. Thank you, Terry. All right. So from here, what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and let you know. Thank you, Michelle. I am going to go ahead and let you on a little secret too. I know it says there July 27th. Never give them the actual due date. Okay. Always give yourself an extra wiggle room just in case anything does happen. So if I go into my calendar, and I go to July 27th, falls on a Saturday, I'm going to give myself maybe a week before. So I'm going to go ahead and do the 19th, make it a Friday. So I'm going to tell them that the last payment is due on the 19th of July. And then you're like, well, Erika, it says 27. The reason you want to give yourself some time is because for whatever reason, let's just say that their dog died, that something came up, that they don't have funds, whatever, they're going to tell you, I can't pay it today. Can you give me a few extra days? So unless you want to be on the phone with Disney, right, hearing their awesome music for 3 hours, because I don't, as much as I like Disney, I'm not going to do that. Give yourself that leeway. Okay. So what you're able to do is if you call Mr. Smith the 19th and be like, Mr. Smith, today's the 19th, the last payment of $263. Do you want me to go ahead and process the card on 1, 2, 3, 4? They're going to tell you yes or no. If they say no, can you give me a little bit extra time or something came up? Can you do something about it? Do not say, oh, yes, you're good. You have until the 27th anyways. Do not do that. Okay. What you want to go ahead and do is be like, yeah, let me see what I can do with you, Mr. Smith. I'll call you back. Let me contact Disney. Okay. Then just give it like an hour-ish. Then contact them back and be like, you know what, Mr. Smith? Can you do Monday or Tuesday of next week? They'll probably tell you yes. So you're still within the time of the 27th. Okay, because that means that they're actually going to go ahead and pay you instead of the 19th, they're going to pay you either the 22 or the 23rd. You're still good until the 27th. Does that make sense? Because if you actually tell them that it's the last day on the 27th and they tell you, oh, I can't pay that today because we know whatever reason stuff happens, you're going to have to be on the phone with Disney to try to see if you can extend it. What if Disney says no? What are you going to do? Okay. Because what happens is anything that is over the due date, Disney starts removing a portion of the amount. That's why they're telling you they want this amount, the full amount, by the 27th. They don't want partial. They don't want 1/4. They don't want 1/5. They want the full amount. If it's less than the full amount, every day that passes by, they will deduct a certain percentage. How much it is, I do not know, because I forgot. But that's all I know, because I know I had a client that never got back to me and they didn't pay it. And so Disney contacted me and they told me, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go ahead and remove money every day as it gets closer to their actual date that they arrive. Okay. And that's how you do your payment plans. Going back to here, going back to the hold, you guys can hold for 3 days. Now, as you guys can see, once I hit that, that goes away. If you guys hold it for 3 days, it will give you a confirmation number where you have 3 days to go ahead and go in there and make that payment. Okay, as you guys can see, it's no longer there. So on step 3, you're going to go ahead and put your email. Make sure it has your email, not your client's. And this goes through any supplier you guys do. When it asks you to go ahead and send you a confirmation email, put your email. Why? Because if you get it, you're able to forward it to your client. Just in case your client loses it, they never got it, you have it and you just send it back to them. Okay? Instead of you calling Disney and telling them, hey, can you resend me blah, 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 blah. right? So make sure that you guys go ahead and put that your email. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and agree to the terms and go ahead and purchase. Regardless if you guys are holding it for 3 days or they're making the payment, you have to go ahead and do the purchasing. You have to fill in their information, and that's it. You will get a confirmation number off of it. When you guys have that reference number, if you guys are gonna come in here and go ahead, let's just say it's the first of the month. You're going to log into your Disney site, and where it says My Reservations, this is where you're going to put your confirmation number, and it's going to pull up their information, and then you're going to retrieve it, and that's where you'll make the payments. Right? And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything within itself. Hopefully you guys understood this a little bit better. Do you guys have any questions?